Welcome to ETH Daily, a daily briefing on the latest in Ethereum. Lens introduces gated publications, zkSync raises a $200 million Series C, StarkWare deploys its StarkNet token contract, and Arbitrum expands its validator set. All this and more from ETH Daily starts right now. Lens Protocol released Lens API version 1.22.0, an update that introduces gated publications and direct audio and video uploads to the Lens API. Gated publications are powered by Lit Protocol, a network that facilitates encryption and access control via signatures. The features allow users to gate content for select NFT and ERC20 token holders. The new release also includes enhancements for smoother audio and video playback. Files uploaded directly to the Lens API will now be transcoded and served to anyone who calls the API. Lens will also create a copy of the file onto its cache and streaming system. However, on-chain metadata will still point to IPFS. zkSync raised $200 million in a Series C funding round co-led by Blockchain Capital and Dragonfly Capital. The project has raised a total of $458 million across seed and Series A, B, and C rounds. The fresh capital will be used for new hires, new launch projects on zkSync, and the development of the Matter University Education Center. zkSync also plans to fully open source zkSync 2.0 under MIT license at the launch of a fair onboarding alpha, which will expand access to select projects. zkSync 2.0 is currently in a baby alpha phase and is only accessible to Matter Labs for testing. OpenZeppelin will also be performing additional audits for zkSync 2.0. StarkWare deployed its StarkNet ERC20 token contract on Ethereum. Coined STRK, the token will be used for governance, staking, and gas fees on StarkNet, a permissionless zk rollup layer 2 network. The token was first announced over the summer with plans to launch in September. However, that has since been delayed. The StarkWare Foundation is still determining how it will distribute the tokens. 50.1% of StarkNet tokens are allocated to the foundation. The remaining 49.9% of tokens, which are allocated to StarkWare shareholders, employees, and contracted developers, will be locked for a 4-year vesting period with a 1-year cliff. Vested tokens will still hold voting rights. StarkNet token holders will be able to vote either on-chain on Layer 1 with Compound's delegation module or off-chain on StarkNet with Snapshot X. The probability of a sequencer being selected to propose a block will also be proportional to the number of staked tokens. Argent released Argent X version 5.0, an update to its StarkNet browser extension wallet. The release includes support for StarkNet version 0.10.0, which changes how accounts work on the network. The new version of StarkNet changes the account contract to separate the validation and execution of a transaction into two functions. StarkNet version 0.10.0 also introduced Type 1 transactions, which allow for backward compatibility. New accounts will also need to pay an activation fee, which StarkWare previously subsidized on behalf of users. Argent X users are required to upgrade their accounts, as non-upgrading accounts will be deprecated in the future. And lastly, Arbitrum expanded its validator set, securing the Arbitrum 1 network. Consensus, Layer 2B, Mycelium, Off-Chain Labs, P2P Validator, QuickNode, DLRC, Unit 10, and the Ethereum Foundation are now validators on Arbitrum 1. Validator nodes secure the network by posting assertions to the state of the chain and challenging any fraudulent assertions. This has been a roundup of today's top news stories from ETH Daily. You can support this podcast by subscribing and following us on Twitter at ETHDaily. Also subscribe to our newsletter at ethdaily.substack.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.